The Strangest and Most Unusual Dinosaurs, Part 2. The age of dinosaurs lasted for over 200 million years. Hundreds, if not thousands, of species of the gigantic reptiles appeared and disappeared forever from the Earth during this time. Each of them came with their own distinct characteristics. As nothing happens for naught in nature, surely these traits had some kind of practical application. However, the appearance of a few dinosaurs would have surely brought a smile to our faces. Some might even surprise us. In our earlier video, we discussed some dinosaurs with an unusual appearance, but there were so many to choose from that one video alone couldn't do all the strange and funny lizards of that time justice. By subscribing to our channel, you can express your opinion about the videos using likes and be the first to learn about interesting facts concerning dinosaurs and the history of the planet. Also, subscribers can discuss the information covered in the comments section. Of course, dinosaurs look strange when compared to the majority of modern animals. But among the inhabitants of Age of Dinosaurs themselves, there are also examples that stand out sharply from the backdrop of their fellow beings. Thus, feast your attention on a selection of the most unusual and most peculiar dinosaurs. Wannanosaurus, a tiny dinosaur which lived in present-day China during the late Cretaceous period, belonging to the Pachycephalosaurus family. What distinguishes these dinosaurs from others is their unusually shaped head. The bony outgrowth typically resembled a cap. Scientists have not yet affirmed the exact function of this headdress. With most members of this family, the head is hidden under a rounded cap. The Wannanosaurus, however, didn't want to follow this fashion trend. It instead sported a bifurcated hat, as well as being extremely small in size. Even as an adult, this dinosaur would barely reach a human's knee in height. Yutyrannus. May this beast serve as definitive proof of dinosaurs' kinship with birds. Yutyrannus' entire body was covered in small feathers. Given that this dinosaur was a pteropod and walked upright, it might give an impression much like a chicken. If it wasn't for one big butt, this feather-covered lizard weighed about 2 tons and was a dangerous predator. This combination of a killing machine and a benign appearance in the eyes of humankind makes Yutyrannus a fairly unusual member of the dinosaur era. Suchosaurus or Susosaurus. However, the strangest member of the pteropods happens to be this very animal. The Suchosaurus, like the Yutyrannus, was a relative of the T-Rex. Truthfully, when comparing the appearance of the Suchosaurus with the Tyrannosaurus, few will notice any common features. This member of the Cretaceous period looks a bit like a giant rat with a neck and a head of a vulture. An appearance like this might seem amusing, but behaviorally, it was just like any other member of its family. And towering at 7 meters or 23 feet, with enormous claws on its front paws, could easily terrify small animals. It's doubtful those same animals would be joking about this beast's appearance. Epidendrosaurus. Only one skeleton of this small dinosaur has ever been found. It was uncovered in China almost 20 years ago. Scientists hypothesized that the Epidendrosaurus was one of the first species to live in trees. It's possible that this is the lizard responsible for all the birds we know today. The uncovered specimen is about 5 centimeters or 2 inches in size. And since this is the only find of its kind, scientists can't say for sure whether it's an adult or merely a cub. The Epidendrosaurus's primary distinguishing feature is the structure of its fingers and claws with a particularly elongated third finger. They are a far cry from bird wings and more similar to claws. The dinosaur most likely acquired this tool through evolution. Its long, slender fingers allowed it to pick up insects out of fissures in the bark. Ouranosaurus. This dinosaur appears as though there was an attempt to assemble as many incongruous features as possible in terms of appearance. At 7 meters, or 23 feet in height, and sporting a powerful body, it had a disproportionately small, elongated head. This head finished off with a genuine beak, and there is webbing between its jaws. The Ouranosaurus also has an entire back that resembles a high, bright ridge. Their hind legs are much more impressive and longer than the front legs. Apparently, as they walked upright, they didn't necessarily rely on the front feet, but the very tips of the paws. This beauty lived in the continent of Africa at the beginning of the Cretaceous period. Archosaurus. Apparently, the early Cretaceous period is chock full of evolutionary experiments with the appearance of dinosaurs. Archosaurs lived during this period. Their bones and the remains of many other species have been unearthed in China. It might appear as though a complete copy of the Stegosaurus, but for some reason, this dinosaur decided to give up its coveted dorsal plates. When you gaze at the Archosaurus, you get the impression that the plates seem to have been carved off. But if scientists are suggesting the Stegosaurus plates were used for thermoregulation, then perhaps the Archosaurus's climate made it possible to evolve without them? Or perhaps they managed to find a way to cool themselves with other methods. Psittacosaurus. The name of this dinosaur translates to parrot lizard, and the Psittacosaurus lives up to this name. It's only about twice the size of current-day parrots. It received its name from the beak and spines atop its head. It also has a bunch of bright feathers on its back towards the base of its tail. A decade ago, scientists believed that these feathers were much longer, including the dinosaur's front paws. This peculiar beast lived, naturally, during the Cretaceous period on the Asian continent. There's even a separate Siberian subspecies of Psittacosauruses. Qantassaurus. Once again, modern China's territory pops up in our review. It can be guessed, however, by the name of the dinosaur. Qantassaurus belongs to the Hadrosaurus family, and, like all hadrosaurs, it has a bone outgrowth on its head. Until recently, it was thought that this growth looked just like a unicorn horn. But modern science is still inclined to believe that their long, thin bone was part of a large ridge. Microraptor. It has long been proven that many dinosaurs were covered with feathers and had front limbs that resembled modern wings. For example, velociraptors looked very different from the beast Spielberg depicted in Jurassic Park. If real velociraptors had been chasing the characters on screen, they wouldn't look as dangerous. In general, the presence of rudimentary wings in raptors doesn't surprise anyone. But there was some original copy among them. Some Microraptor had grown feathers not only on its front legs, but on its hind legs as well. This meant it wasn't yet able to fly completely, but it was able to glide from tree to tree. It was not known whether these additional wings aided in this at all. Cryolophosaurus. Another relative of the Tyrannosaurus gets a review in our video. The Cryolophosaurus was almost equal in both size and teeth length to its famous descendants of the Cretaceous period. Most likely, it was one of the members from the top of the food chain of the early Jurassic, but it would hardly make the grade in terms of the most dangerous predator in some famous movie. The reason would be the bright crest on its face. Scientists are still arguing about the purpose of this accessory, but one thing is certain: whatever function it serves, the comb makes this fearsome predator look ridiculous. Notronich. Probably one of the most unusual members of the theropod family. The Notronichus, unlike most of its relatives, was a herbivore and not a predator. This and walking on two legs didn't add to its speed. It was hindered by the shape of its pelvis. It is similar in body shape to modern sloths. Therefore, scientists assumed that the Notronichus's way of life coincided with the lifestyles of modern animals. Imagine a 5-meter or 16.5-inch long giant covered with fluffy feathers moving leisurely through the late Cretaceous forests as it slowly ate leaves atop treetops. Simultaneously, the Notronichus, like the sloth, possessed long, sharp claws on its front paws. This helped them not only defend themselves from predators, but also allow them to bend the tops of trees. Thank you for watching this video to completion. We remind you that you can learn more about the appearance, habits, and development of dinosaurs from other videos on our channel.